2. All right. So could you just state your first, last name, title, rank, dates, and places of service?
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Chanthini Taylor Dixon. I am retired Staff Sergeant from the United States Army and Army Reserve. I served from 1986 to 2019. 26 years of service. I served as a former military police officer in Washington, D.C., Fort Myers, Virginia, the petroleum fuel specialist right here in Niagara Falls, New York, 237 quartermaster, and I was deployed with personnel unit out of Fort Taunton, New York.
Thank you. So our first question, did you face any challenges as an African-American person in the military? If so, can you elaborate on that?
Yes. As an African-American woman,
3.
There were a lot of challenges. Somewhere to be overcome, and somewhere you have to learn to deal with it as far as a lesson. Being one of the few female military police officers, I was with the all-male unit. So in my platoon, although we had 2 females, we both were in 2 different squads. So whenever I was on duty, I didn't have another female working with me, for neither did she. So one of the things that I had to learn, being among a lot of men, that you have to kind of like let them know how to give you your respect. Now, I did have some experience being the only girl out of 5 boys. So I kind of knew, like, when they would be, in conversation and talk, and I felt like the conversation was going out of hand or being gender specific, I would kind of make a little clear my throat, and I'm going to excuse myself. And I will be back in about 5 or 10 minutes. That way I'm giving them time to air out whatever they needed to say, whatever they had to get off their chest, and also be men. I don't want to interrupt. I can't change them. So I said, all right, by me being the only female, I'm not trying to make, ruffle any feathers, but I'm still going to earn some respect. You're not just going to be, disrespecting me or disrespecting another female or just making idle comments. So by me doing that, and plus I was a little older, I earned my respect with that, to a certain extent. But, there were times, just being a woman and, no comments would be said to kind of see what my reaction was going to be or how I was going to respond to them. So I had to learn how to, if I felt like it was out of hand, like take it up to my next leadership. But then with them, they was like, are you really perceiving it to be, what you say it is? And I had to stand up for myself and say, yes, I do perceive it that way. This is my perception and you're not going to change, and you need to address it. Yes, I know I'm the only female up in here, but I'm not trying to, I just want them to be aware of how to handle themselves. And also that build up, camaraderie for us. If you expect me to work and be able to protect you and defend you and have your back, or vice versa, for me to trust you, then we need to have that understanding of,
Got you. Thank you. So our next question is going to be, and I have to jump around a little bit so we can hear through that, right? How did you adjust to civilian life after your military service ended?
Well, I'm still adjusting to that. I just recently retired in 2019, right before the pandemic. And the unit that I was retired from. Mainly majority of them were all of the Caucasian race, so wasn't too many blacks in there. I was one of the highest ranking female, even as a staff sergeant, just moving up through the ranks. There's a lot of times where confrontations would come up by me being a little more outspoken. Not like when I first came in, just kind of like, letting people say stuff. But I got to the point where I didn't allow them just to say anything to anybody. It didn't matter whether or not they were white or black, female, male. By me being in leadership, I looked out for my soldiers. So like when I would see other leaderships go tell another soldier, go do something, and they go off somewhere, I would be out there with them. And they would be like, oh, you don't need to be out there with them. I'm like, yes, I do. Because I'm not going to just send them out there on their own. I'm not managing them, but I'm letting them know I'm right here by your side. I'm working with you. Yes, I'm your leadership, but I'm also your partner with you to work with you. I was also the EO rep of my unit. So therefore, whenever I would have cases come up to me, I would, first of all, I always felt like what you're feeling, nobody can speak for you the way that you're feeling. So yes, you can bring it to me and I will move it up to court, the command to let them know that this needs to be addressed or there's an issue going on, whether you feel comfortable talking about it with me or whether you feel like comfortable talking about it with the upper command. I would always make sure that I was an advocate for them. And I would be straightforward with them and let them know, like, yes, I'm your EO rep. Everything is handled in-house, but if you feel that this needs to go out further as a formal complaint, just know that it would be out of my hands because now they're doing investigations. I said, but I'm still here to support you, to be there for you, to help you along the way. So I was always, making sure that my soldiers had a positive, outlook on things, making sure that they had my support.
Absolutely. All right, so final question. So, in lieu of time, I'm sorry, I do have a show tonight. Right? But I want to know, what advice would you give to young African American, young Black students considering a military career?
One of the battles in the Army, be all you can be. During this time now, there is no excuse that you can achieve whatever you want to do. And I'll be an excellent and excelling. Because what I do now, I work with a lot of my youth in my church. And whenever I see first Black female, first Black male who has made rank, I always cut that article out. Or I go to Facebook and say, here, this is somebody that can inspire you. Because I had mentors, even from the beginning, being a single mother. I had a young lady who had told me, just stick it out. They want you to get out on a general discharge, right? Had I got out on a general discharge, I would not be where I'm at right now. So if it wasn't for her giving me that inspiration, like stick it in there, even when I was in Iraq and I was around a lot of Black officers that I knew existed, but because I did not see that or was around that, I didn't dismiss that they weren't there. So that encouraged me to stay in. They gave me advice how to stick with it, be dedicated. So that's what I tell the young people now, like, anything that you get involved with now, there is no excuse that you cannot overcome it. The challenge is not to hurt you and to break you down. It's to build you up and make you stronger so that you can overcome different adversities that you may face in your life. So you take that and turn around and be positive, because if the Lord didn't put that challenge in front of you, that meant that he did not have you to be responsible to overcome it. When he put that challenge, he's trusting you to say, I know you can overcome it. So go through it. I'm with you going through it, and you will be successful overcoming that challenge.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. All right. All right. So now,